Science Class 7, Chapter Respiration in Organisms, Module 4, Respiration in Plants and Animals. Hello friends, we have discussed respiration in human beings. In this module, we shall discuss how other animals breathe. Do all animals breathe through lungs? Do all of them have the same respiratory organs as humans? Absolutely not. Different animals have different organs that help them in breathing. So let's start respiration in lower organisms. Lower organisms means simple and unicellular organisms. Unicellular means those animals which have only one cell in their bodies. So unicellular organisms like amoeba and paramecium have a simple body structure. They have only one cell surrounded by a cell membrane. Gaseous exchange takes place through this membrane. In unicellular organisms, when the concentration of oxygen decreases inside the body or a cell, then oxygen enters inside the cell from the outside environment. When the concentration of carbon dioxide is more inside the cell, then it comes out of the cell. So when a substance moves from its higher concentration to its lower concentration, this process is called diffusion. What does that mean? It means in unicellular organisms such as amoeba and paramecium, exchange of gases takes place by diffusion through the cell membrane. I repeat, in unicellular organisms such as amoeba and paramecium, the exchange of gases takes place by diffusion through the cell membrane. Now, insects. How do insects breathe? Insects like grasshoppers and cockroaches, they have a respiratory system. And this respiratory system is a network of thin air tubes called tracheae. These thin tubes are present all over the body of the insects. These air tubes have tiny openings on the sides of the body of the insects. And these tiny openings are called spiracles. So, how do insects breathe? The spiracles in insects are similar to our nostrils. That means oxygen-rich air enters the body of the insects through these spiracles. Air enters these thin tubes called tracheae. Air enters each and every cell of the body through tracheae because tracheae is present in all the parts of their body. This occurs through diffusion. Let me explain this again. The air goes into tracheae, diffuses into the body tissues and reaches every cell of the body. Now in the cells, oxygen is used to break down the food to produce energy and carbon dioxide. And this carbon dioxide gas from the cells goes into the tracheae and moves out of the body through spiracles. So, thin air tubes called tracheae and tiny air openings called spiracles help the insects to breathe. How does breathing occur in earthworms? Earthworms have very thin and moist skin. The earthworms breathe through their thin and moist skin. And how do frogs breathe? We all know that frogs live both on land and in water. But how are they able to breathe both on land and in water? Frogs have a pair of lungs like human beings to breathe on land. So on land, frogs breathe through their lungs. Do frogs breathe through these lungs in water also? Absolutely not. In water, they breathe through their moist skin. So, frogs breathe through lungs when they are on the land, and when they are in water, they breathe through the moist skin. What about fish? How do fish breathe? Fish live in water. Then, do they breathe through their skin like frogs do? No. Fish have special organs for breathing. And what are these organs called? These organs are called gills. Look at this. These are gills. Where are gills present in fish? Gills are found on both the sides of the head of a fish. Fish take in water through its mouth. Oxygen is dissolved in water, so oxygen also enters the mouth along with the water. From the mouth, the water enters the gills. Gills are well supplied with blood vessels. So the blood vessels of the gills extract the dissolved oxygen from this water. And this oxygen reaches each and every part of the cell of the fish along with the blood. In cells, carbon dioxide and energy are released by the breakdown of food. Carbon dioxide is brought back by the blood into the gills for expelling into the surrounding water. Let's see this once again. Fish has special organs of breathing called gills found on both the sides of its head. The fish breathes by taking in water through its mouth and sending it over the gills. The gills are well supplied with blood vessels. The blood vessels of the gills extract dissolved oxygen from this water and send it to all parts of the body. Carbon dioxide is brought back by the blood into the gills for expelling into the surrounding water. So we have discussed how unicellular organisms, insects, earthworms, frogs and fish breathe. Now I am going to ask you a question. Which of the following is the organ for breathing in fishes? Lungs, trachea or gills? Absolutely correct. Gills. The fish breathe through gills. Now let's quickly revise what we have learnt. The main points. Different animals breathe through different parts of their body. In unicellular organisms like amoeba and paramecium, exchange of gases takes place through the cell membrane by diffusion. In insects, trachea and spiracles help in breathing. In earthworms, breathing takes place through thin and moist skin. Frogs breathe through lungs on land and through their moist skin in water. Fishes breathe through their gills. Now, next topic is respiration in plants. Do plants also respire? Yes, they do. Like animals, plants also respire for their survival. Like animals, the plants get energy by the process of respiration, in which glucose breaks down in the presence of oxygen of air to form carbon dioxide and water, along with the release of energy. Plants take in oxygen from air and give out carbon dioxide during respiration. Let's understand with an activity that carbon dioxide gas is released during respiration. And for doing this activity, take a conical flask and soak some pea seeds in water inside it overnight. Next morning, drain the water and keep the seeds moist until they start germinating. Time to time, sprinkle some water to keep the pea seeds moist. Now set up the apparatus as shown. Now use a suction pump to suck in air through the apparatus. Observe the setup carefully. The air enters the test tube B through the test tube A. We have taken potassium hydroxide in test tube A. So potassium hydroxide in the test tube A absorbs carbon dioxide from the incoming air as the air passes through the test tube A. Now, the air that enters the test tube B from A does not contain carbon dioxide. Test tube B contains lime water. And since all the carbon dioxide is absorbed by the potassium hydroxide solution, so the lime water in test tube B does not turn milky. Now, the air that enters the conical flask from test tube B does not contain any carbon dioxide gas. We have confirmed this by the lime water test. Now observe the test tube C that contains lime water. What do you observe after some time? After some time, the lime water in test tube C turns milky. Let's understand this. Carbon dioxide was not present in the air that entered the conical flask, and the air that was already present in it was taken out by the suction pump. So, how did the lime water turn milky? From where does carbon dioxide came into the flask? Carbon dioxide is produced by the respiration of germinating seeds. And when this carbon dioxide came in contact with lime water, the lime water turned milky. So, what can we conclude? We conclude that carbon dioxide gas is produced during respiration by the germinating seeds. So, from this activity, we confirmed that in plants, carbon dioxide is produced during the process of respiration. Now, do you know heat is also released during the process of respiration? Let's now perform an activity to show that heat is produced during the process of respiration. And for this, take 2 thermos flasks and mark them as A and B. Take some bean seeds and soak them overnight in water. Next morning, drain the water and leave the seeds for germination. You have to keep the seeds moist until they start germinating. Now, boil half of the germinating seeds so that germination stops in them. Wash the seeds with dilute formalin or carbolic acid. How do we wash the seeds? For washing the seeds, take the seeds in a cup or beaker and add dilute formalin or carbolic acid in it. Then strain it. The seeds are washed now. Why have we done this? Why we washed seeds in carbolic acid or formalin? To prevent the seeds from decay. Now, keep the germinating seeds in thermos flask A and the boiled seeds in thermos flask B. Keep the moist cotton wool on the mouth of both the flasks. This will keep the seeds moist and also prevent the air from entering the flask. Insert a thermometer in each flask. Now note down the initial temperature of the thermometer. Leave the setup undisturbed for a few hours and then observe. After a few hours, the thermometer in the flask A shows a higher reading. It means there is a rise in the temperature, whereas the thermometer in the flask B does not show any rise in temperature. What does that mean? Let's understand. Thermos flask A contains germinating seeds. Respiration occurred in these seeds and heat is released in this process. So the temperature in the thermometer rises in flask A. On the other hand, thermos flask B contained boiled seeds in which respiration did not occur. That's why the temperature did not rise. So what can we conclude from this activity? We conclude that germinating seeds respire and heat is produced during the process of respiration. Have you understood? Heat is produced during the process of respiration. So we have discussed that plants also respire. Carbon dioxide and heat are produced in this process. Do you know how does oxygen enter the plant body and carbon dioxide is removed from the body? You will say it is through leaves. Oxygen enters and carbon dioxide comes out through leaves. Absolutely correct. There are tiny pores in the leaves of a plant and these pores are called stomata. So exchange of gases takes place in leaves through stomata. Look at these. They are stomata. Stomata are surrounded by 2 cells which are called guard cells. These guard cells help in opening and closing of stomata. So in leaves, the exchange of gases takes place through stomata. Do you know, besides leaves, the exchange of gases in plants also takes place through roots and stems? The roots of a plant have a very large number of tiny hair on them. These tiny hair are called root hair. Air is present between the soil particles. We know that roots are present in the soil. That means root hair and soil particles are in contact with each other. Oxygen in the air that is present between the soil particles diffuses into the root hair and reaches all the cells of the root. In the root cells, oxygen is utilized in the breakdown of food. During the breakdown of food, carbon dioxide gas is produced and energy is released. Carbon dioxide produced during respiration goes out through the root hair by the process of diffusion. And in this way, the exchange of gases takes place in the roots. Now let me tell you an interesting fact. You might have seen in your houses that if you overwater the plant, it dries. And you say that I have watered the plant, even then it is dried. Why is it so? Friends, when we add a lot of water to the soil, then water enters the spaces between the soil particles by removing the air present in those spaces. So, all the air that was present in soil is removed. So, the roots do not get oxygen to respire, and ultimately the plant dries. So, due to non-availability of oxygen for roots, the plant ultimately dies. So, now you know that due to overwatering, the plants may die. Let's continue with our topic. You know, what are herbs? Herbs are plants that have green and soft stem. The stems of herbs like tomato, grass and rice plant have stomata, and these stomata help in breathing. At certain places in hard and woody stems of big plants and trees, the cells are loosely packed. Due to the loose packing or arrangement, the space between the cells increases and an opening is formed. This tiny opening is called lenticel. So the hard and woody stems of big plants and trees have lenticels for gaseous exchange. I hope you have understood this. Now let's quickly revise the main points. Plants respire for their survival. Plants take in oxygen from air and give out carbon dioxide during respiration. Heat is also released during respiration. In leaves and stems of herbs, breathing or exchange of gases takes place through stomata. In roots, breathing takes place through root hair. And in hard and woody stems, breathing takes place through lenticels. So friends, with this, we have completed this module. Now it's time to move on to the exercises. Do remember to write the answers of all the given questions in your notebook.